Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Happy Tuesday.
How's everything?
Good, good, good. Missed you guys yesterday.
Yeah,
Good to be
no better.
back. I'm better. I'm better.
Awesome.
It's just the weather is so extreme here. It's there's a big difference. There's about a 30-degree difference between indoors and outdoors, and that just screwed me up basically. I can't keep going back and forth. It's you step outside and ride the motorcycle. It's 30 degrees hotter, and I get sick doing that. So I gotta be careful. Anyways.
Are you sure it wasn't the scotch?
No. That helps things, man. Come on, you know better.
This clears everything out, right?
Clears it out. That's right. That's right. And that's only a Friday thing, anyways. It's not. If it was an everyday thing, that would be a problem. So, all good. Yeah, I couldn't speak yesterday. My whole throat was so bad with the air conditioner in here and the humidity out there, and it was just. Anyways,
You must be just getting old, man.
I'm sure I am. I'm sure I am. I can feel it. Yeah, this stuff doesn't happen when you're 20. You just muscle right through it, right?
That's right.
All right. Cool, man. Cool. Well, let's see. We got the spy. Let's get some levels on this thing. There we go. Let's look at the news. See what's on the calendar. What do we have today? 10 a.m. factory orders. Is that even going to have an impact? That's 2 stars, but I don't know. Oh, we got Jolt's jobs opening. There we go. 10 a.m. That will have an impact. Then 1 p.m. Cook speech, 4:30. Okay, that's after the market close. All right, so 10 a.m. Watch out for that jobs opening number. That'll make things move around a bit. So if I'm in a position, I want to be at least deal with the time it's 10 o'clock. And I don't want to start a position close to 10 o'clock. So we have that. And let's see what's here on the SPY. What happened yesterday? Look at that. It was all bullish. I'm just looking at this now. You guys make money yesterday? Looks interesting. Yeah, yesterday was fun. Huh? Missed it. Anyways, today, what do we have? I like the fact that it's been pushing up and it's consolidating before the, right under the level, looking good for the move upwards. Higher lows are interesting. It's at an interesting level. This was previous resistance approximately. We had a false breakout as well overnight. Huh, this is interesting. For the move up, well, I'd be interested in a breakout here at the open. Up about 592.20 or whatever that level is. Let's see if it really sets up nicely. Can see it on a 1 minute. Yeah, not too bad. Just got to be careful not to get in too early. The first 3 or 4 minutes are very jumpy and just assume too much risk. I'd rather just wait a couple minutes.
Avi, would you be looking at out of the money or in the money?
This would likely be out of the money. We have 593. I'd probably go out of the money. And I'd be looking at de-risk fairly quickly. The target's way up there, 595. But if I'm really getting in the first 10 minutes, I'll likely go out of the money because it's likely to move fast. And once it gets into this, let's put a level here, this high of overnight, that's an area of a little trouble. At that point, I want to be at break even. And if it breaks through there, I want to add more. So 593 makes sense going out of the money. I can get an entry just below 593, somewhere just above this line, 592.60 or so. So it's not too far out. So I think that would work. But again, let it set up. The 1 minute truly has to behave well. Otherwise, I'm not going to touch it. What are we saying here? Mark, you made money yesterday. Alexander, very choppy yesterday. Okay. Made money on the short, Gurinder. Okay. Nice. Yeah, you can see these 30-minute candles. I mean, it's all bullish, but yeah, they're overlapping. See white, red, white, red, white, red. And then 2 o'clock is when it really took off. You need a lot of patience to catch that move later. Interesting. It's been messy. I haven't taken a trade since last Tuesday. It's been a whole week. You can see on the 30-minute chart why. It's just misbehaving, you know. It's just like this. It's in this choppy zone. Ideally, today is a bit of a breakout day. And can get back in business.
Man, you missed meta yesterday. It was funny, man. You get in at the open and you just sat there all freaking day. All that thing did was go up all day long.
Nice. Did you do it? Did you catch it?
I got in about halfway.
Okay. Nice. Nice when you catch it, you get the direction right, and you just leave it alone all day. Those are the best.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Thor. Welcome back.
How's it going?
Good morning
Good.
or afternoon, whatever it is for you.
Yeah, I'm on the market time, so it's definitely morning.
It's sunset time here.
Threw up my screen as well. Don't forget, you can always unpin it if you want to pin Artie's screen. So
Nice.
it's available.
Cool, cool. All right. So, guys, we have about 10 minutes to the open. I've got nothing on my mind, just waiting for the bells. So whatever you want to discuss, here's a chance.
We're in a really kind of a unideal range for the SPY right now as far as interacting with it. We're basically right dead in the middle of the range. So for anyone thinking about getting spicy, just kind of keep that in mind. It's going to go one way or the other. That's obvious, but which way, that maybe not so obvious. So, this is definitely what we could consider to be kind of a kill zone on the SPY right here. So you could have big move down with really big move up, and then really big move down and really big move up, and it's going to be very hard to manage risk in that environment. So just kind of keep in mind on that.
Awesome. Where is it for you? Right in between the pivots?
Yeah, literally like dead middle of the range. SPY more often than not likes to go kiss the king. So I think we could go back towards where PDC is at and all that stuff. But I'd actually like to see, because we're in a higher range and we kind of bought up a good bit yesterday, I'd like to see us dip on SPY, like maybe somewhere around, let me get you a number, maybe somewhere around like 590.50, 590.58, somewhere right down around there. I think would be a really nice spot for a solid value buy for an all-day rally afterwards. So we have jolts coming up at 10 o'clock a.m. That's a job openings numbers. Very important number is a labor statistic. So want to keep an eye out for jolts at 10. So also be cautious with your positioning. If you notice we're going down into going down to the low end of the chart right ahead of that news, could be a really nice spot for them to get ready for a buy opportunity. You know what I mean? So just kind of keep that in mind. But jolts likely will probably be a little less responsive today, waiting for that news to come out, at least in the morning.
Yeah, I'm very watchful of that as well. I don't want to be in a risk-on situation when we get close to that. So,
Yep.
Especially
not the way those options can fly. Yeah, baby.
Yes. Cool.
So I need to redo my alerts.
There we go. Cool. What else are you guys watching? I'm just watching the SPY as always. Is there anything you want me to watch? Put on the screen. Let me know. I'll put it on some of these other charts so we can at least watch it. Yeah, Gurinder, go ahead.
So, Avi, if the level we were talking about earlier on SPY breaks on a first minute candle, would you take a 1 minute ORB, or would you wait for consolidation? Or
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. The consolidation's already done, really. On the 1 minute, it could just easily pop and go. But if that happens in the first 2 or 3 minutes, typically you'll see this red line on the chart jumping around, and the candlestick can't even keep up. Like DAS can't even print the candlestick in time for the red line. When I see that activity, that I don't want to touch it. It's too jumpy, and typically that's 3 or 4 minutes. So I'll wait for that. If it goes without me, let it go. Well, there'll be something later. You don't want to take additional risk unnecessarily, just out of FOMO.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Someone was asking about Tesla. I actually find Tesla to be quite interesting this morning. Tesla finds itself in a lower, wider range, which actually puts it in a really lovely spot to potentially short at the open for a movement back to previous day's close, which would be near like 342. We've already offered in the pre-market and set pre-market high right at R3, which is where I'd like to short it. And there's an incredibly large order block coming out to the downside. So like between 340 to 338, and then another block between 335 and 333. Just a massive amount of orders down there. So, you know, not saying we're going to run for those, you know, but generically, if we get selling volume to come in, I mean, that's where they're going to go. So, but look at these. I'm going to clear this up a little bit, and you can see these stinking orders. They're crazy orders. Look at these big guys. Let me pause.
Thor, what you think of Google? You think the move is done, or you think we'll have more to go?
Done? We haven't even opened yet.
No, it was a big drop in pre-market on Google.
No, not at all. I think we could do more. So technically the calculated ATR would put our low target today without deviation just below 164. So however, the volume's really cool yesterday. We sold and then we had a really big buy up candle, but it really didn't result in an engulfing. It just kind of was a wick. And then today we're gapped back against it. Does Google have specific news today?
Yeah, news with the Apple going with some other server or something.
That's good. That's a solid catalyst. We're near monthly R4 too from a previous month, so we could go and offer as low as 155 over the next couple of days. So this could be a nice one. If the only problem is we're like, for me, we're like right on the edge of the inflection point for this range, and I agree with you. Like as far as you've already sold down and bounced like near S6. So but if we can get a little lower, I wouldn't mind shorting 167. If we're stay where we're at right now, it's a little bit sketchy for a short. It's really like we could get squeezed here pretty easily. So if we get a movement all the way back to 170, or sorry, 169.52, I think that'd be a really great spot for a short. So so let me show you kind of real quick why on that one. Let me get my epic. Here it is. So ATR is a big consideration for me, right? So this is an ATR high here, and let me zoom out a little bit. Sorry. Yoink. We have ATR high here, right? And we have ATR low here. So if this is how far we run on average, we've already been here. So if we pulled back to R3 up to here, right, our ATR low wouldn't move at all, right? So we could pull back to R3, and then if we sold down to our ATR low, that would pull our ATR high down right on top of PDC. Right, so it's kind of like a perfect move to go back to here, right near R3, and then sell down to close out the day, because that would kind of end up putting our ATRs, you know, basically right where they need to be in order for things to match up at the end of the day. So my ideal play here would actually be to see if we can get a bit of a squeeze up to R3 and then play a narrow range breakdown to the edge of the range to close at 4.4 or as a target. So it'd be a pretty sizable move on Google. You'd be talking about $5 to $6 on Google today. It'd be a nice move. You should be able to run a quarter to even 50-cent stop and easily still hit a target.
Thank you.
No problem. 3 minutes till the open.
Yep.
What do
Quick
you guys think
question
of
here.
NVIDIA?
Yeah, we got something here. A couple questions real quick on NVIDIA and PLTR. I'll go through them quickly. PLTR, to my eyes, already done a breakout, bouncing off 132.72. That's the level I got. And basically, if it keeps bouncing off of that, that's what you call a retest of the breakout, which is what it's doing now. So basically, a 1 minute RB long, something of that nature, would make sense. If there's good volatility and volume, all that stuff. NVIDIA, similar setup, already breaking out. Look at that 30-minute consolidation and go. And so bounce off of the breakout, basically retest of the breakout, 138.30. Again, long opportunities. Tesla is the same, 345. Already broke out. Bounce off of 345 as a retest of the breakout. Tesla is actually the cleanest of the lot. So let's see if there's good buyers coming in here.
I would love Tesla to reject this 346, 347 area with a big sell at the open. That'd be fantastic. I don't really like it for a buy here, but it might be a buy here. I'm just saying I don't like it for a buy here.
Mhm. Yeah, interesting. There's a lot of activity on Tesla. Look at that.
It's got good volume. There's definitely some attention leading into the open.
Something's happening here. Yeah, very interesting. Anyways, whatever you guys do, just make sure you know that 10 o'clock we got news. And if
Such
that's
a
a part of your trade,
massive
book,
set
be
of
careful.
orders to the downside.
SPY is very interesting. It keeps bumping itself on that level. So again, as far as candlestick setups are concerned, I like the SPY for the breakout. But let's see. Got to be very careful, not get too excited too early. I always have that problem.
It's like Christmas.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Yeah, sell-off would be good. I would like to pick up the SPY below 590 if it goes down there. That would be super. But let's see. That won't happen right at the open.
A lot of absorption here. All right. I got my alerts running, so if anything fancy happens, I'll let you know.
All right. I'm just excited to be back in the market.
Mhm.
All right. Let's zoom in, take a look. There goes a SPY breakout. Too jumpy. Can I catch that? Boom.
Whee,
Tesla, everything.
bam! Look at that thing go. Smash. Hulk smash.
Already gone. Google already made the move, according to me. Whoa, PLTR. Careful with PLTR, guys. It's just jumping both directions. Whoa. Yeah, too difficult to trade anything right now. Everything's jumpy.
Mhm. So much volume coming in right now. Again, remember, we only have about 30 minutes and then jolts will come out and then everything will change.
Fun, huh? Oh, boy. Let's see. It's only been a minute.
PLTR just alerted for me.
Yeah. It's jumping in both directions, but it's giving you a very good setup on PLTR where the ORB is, the opening range, the top and bottom of the first candle. You can see it's already being respected. So that's your opening range. For those of you who like ORBs. Got a close eye here on the SPY. Want this thing to
Got a
settle
nice
down.
pop on Amazon.
Nice. I'm not even watching it. Let's put that on.
PLTR for me would be an R3 short here.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, Amazon popped, Tesla popped, all going the other way now. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. I'm really watching this. I can put on a tight stop. I still can't. The candles are just too big right now on the SPY. All right, let's see this. Yeah. The setup is there on the SPY for me. This is the retest of the breakout that happened 2 minutes ago. But the whole issue is being able to put risk on right now is too difficult. That's why I'm not going to touch it. There you go. Now it's going the other way. See, it's just jumpy. It's just hard to put risk on it. Don't know where to put the stop.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be wide. That's difficult. It's going down 592. The whole thing would be negated. Let's see.
PLTR's market structure's kind of tiered to the downside a titch. Big flagging order to the top side, lots of absorption. What they do here.
See the buyer here, 592.10 on the SPY, which is higher than 592, the previous buyer. So as long as these lows are getting higher, that is good confirmation, but still can't put risk. Still too wide. This is very close to me putting it on, but it's not there. Unless it's really there, I'm not going to touch it. It's very close though.
I've been holding a short on PLTR for a couple of minutes now, so I shorted R3 like I was saying earlier. So I'm just holding on to it right now. My target is 130.63, 4 to 1. I went in at 133.12. Stop was above high of day.
Nice. Good
Let me
catch.
pull up. I took it in DOS, so I can actually share that. If I can find that chart. There you are. Right here. So I got in on this wick. It came back, it pulled back into R3 and made a low. So I hit it there and threw my stop above, and my target's going to be right down here. If this squeezes and takes me out, so be it. But it's a nice one. I like it.
Good catch there. 1, 2. Okay, these are getting very interesting. Very interesting on the SPY. Again, close to taking it, but it's still basically going down more than it's going up, so I'm not going to take it. There you go, Thor. That thing's moving. PLTR.
So far, so good.
Yeah, good.
I like the selling and I noticed that the order book, when they opened, they really tiered the downside of the order book really nicely. So it looked like they wanted to sell it. I was a little concerned we didn't have enough selling when this big dot came through. I thought we should have waterfalled more. But the absorption afterwards was pretty good, so I felt pretty good about getting into it.
Nice.
We'll see if we can make it down to my target, because we do have a bit of an order void here to the downside. So I am a little concerned they're going to bounce right here, but we'll see what happens. I'm feeling pretty good about it so far.
Cool. Yeah, 131.27 is my level on PLTR, so close to it. If you look at this setup here, guys, on the SPY on the 1 minute, you see these highs getting lower and lower and lower and unable to make a higher high. I'm not going to go long in this situation. This is really keeping me away from it. This is telling me the sellers are firmly in charge, even though there's wicks on the downside here with buyers coming in. But so far, the buyers are truly not able to, firstly, really arrest the price and secondly, move it up. So I'm not getting any of those real confirmations that I'd like to see. That's why I'm staying away from it. There we go. Now it's the first real higher high right there. Let's see what happens now. First time buyers have been able to put something on. There you go. That's better.
What were you saying about Tesla?
Hmm?
What were the marks you were saying you wanted to? You were looking at Tesla.
It was. Let me see here. Where did it go? I can't see any of my stuff on PL.
Right. I'm getting into this long here on the SPY now with that new high.
Tesla. All right, let me get Tesla.
Still a wide stop. Let's get in a little more. There we go. Okay, now we got a decent size on. So there you go. Now I took the long. Looks like the buyers are starting to slowly start to play a little.
Tesla ended up blowing out the play, so it went through, but it was an R3 short was what I would have been looking for, but it kind of went a little too aggressive at the open. Blech. I hate pullbacks.
You, Ali, yep, I've taken a long here on the SPY. I'm looking for an opportunity to add more. For now, I don't have that. I can't tighten the stop yet. It's still really wide. I've gone out of the money because it is jumpy. So if it goes fast. Otherwise, I'll stop out. There you go. It's very close to my stop right there. Stop is basically halfway of that big red wick, the previous one. There you go. Very close. There it is. Okay, that's the stop. Come on. There you go. Okay. Oops. Good. Okay, took the stop. And let's see. Higher lows, and that higher high was interesting. That was my confirmation about 2 minutes ago. That higher high, that bullish candle. But the buyer's not able to sustain it. So we'll see. Let's see the next little piece of action here. One thing that would, again, negate it completely is if it makes a lower low on the 1 minute chart. Let's see. We got that firm wick down there. And it's still basically where I stopped out just a moment ago. Yeah, that's a lower low. All right, this trade is not on.
Look at the pullback here on PLTR. Look at how our volume, it actually dropped as we were pulling back on this pullback here. So far the VPA still seems fairly consistent with an advance to the lower side, but we'll see how that goes. Stinging PLTR. I haven't traded. This is the first equity I've traded in like 3 weeks.
Ah, nice. Different game, huh? Equities, futures.
We'll see what it does. We'll see if it. I had 0 futures like that looked like they were on a. No. So I agree, Dustin. PLTR is like kind of my arch nemesis a little bit sometimes. I have a lot of trouble getting this thing to like. It's so far so good, but this thing for some reason has the ability to take my money. So we'll see what happens though. Exactly. So like if we weren't hanging out right now, what I would do at this point is probably go get some breakfast.
Yeah,
I mean, I would just leave this on. I maybe trim my stop a little bit if I want to, but otherwise just take off and go get a little food, come back in like an hour and see if I made money or not.
Best way to trade, man. Best way to trade. Just leave it alone and let it run. There we go. Now the SPY want to go, right? Stop me and go new highs. Damn it. That always happens. But it gave me very close to a second opportunity to enter, but it's not there. It's just not there. It's too much risk.
I really like how the volume's dropping on the pullback. Time to come back to VWAP. We got the VWAP and the 50 here. They're probably going to come right back up here. They're still trying to find, they just haven't gotten the sellers they were looking for, unfortunately. It was a really clean move. We just didn't have enough sustained selling come in, so we're just pulling back a little bit. Probably because you said the SPY was rallying a little bit right now.
Yeah, it's pushing up. The buyers are finally playing now.
That's not helping me at all.
Yeah, it's tricky price action. It's really messy.
It's all good.
Yeah. 593. That would have been the strike. Let's see what happens here.
So Avi, at what point would you consider getting back into the trade again?
This setup looks like it's done. It's gone. It did the breakout. It's on the 1 minute chart. It did the retest. On a 30-minute, it might retest later. Maybe the next few 30-minute candles later in the day, maybe for the same setup. So that's when I may consider it. Another interesting situation may be if the 1 minute chart comes back and starts truly bouncing off of a higher place, closer to the level around 592.38. So it makes these higher lows, basically a higher retest, put it that way. then I would consider it. But now we are also getting close to that news. There's only, what, 15 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not inclined to put anything on at the moment. I'd rather wait for all that to pass and then see what the candles look like. Now it's just too jumpy and bumpy and messy.
Yeah, my ideal buy for like SPY or ES would still be quite a bit lower than this. So this is just like, I mean, we're literally sitting right at the previous day's close. It's just such a hard spot to make a decision. Like, do we buy what we close? Do we sell to close? It kind of looks like we're gonna, like, we had 2 good buying candles, but for the volume that we got, like on the last minute candle into PDC, really decent volume, but we really didn't go anywhere. It was a really small, narrow bodied candle. So that actually looks like a potential reversal signal right now. So, I mean, if we start making new lows, we could crack it, and then we could go reoffer somewhere reasonable. So, but right now they're struggling to get us to buy premium, but they seem very interested in doing it. And that's why these ranges just suck. Yeah. Because it looks strong and then they go down, and then it looks weak and then they go up and then it looks not. So it's just better to get near an inflection point down near the edge or up near the top where you can actually reasonably make a decision.
Yeah, good
like
point.
PLTR is just being a pain in my butt right now. This stupid ticker. Why do I subject myself to this?
Well, it bounced precisely off an Fibonacci level.
I'm not surprised. Right here. Ding!
Yeah.
Actually, we're offering the top end of that level right now.
Yeah.
So what do you do now? Do you draw your lines off of that one? Is that what you do? From there to there?
Lines, for me, they're just 8 a.m. levels right there.
Oh, okay. You just mark them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a 30-minute chart, 8 a.m. candle. And then it's a measured move for every other line, just a measured move up and down, same distance away. That's it.
And in general, Avi, were you saying that you don't like to trade in between that range, the 8 a.m. candle, or does it just depend?
It depends. If it's been choppy in there, I don't want to be in there. It'll continue to be choppy if it's been choppy, basically. So I'd like it to depart a choppy area, which typically, is the pre-market zone. Typically doesn't go anywhere. It's choppy. And then once it gets you a pre-market area breakout, you see those almost every day. But today, for example, on the SPY, the 30-minute candlesticks within the pre-market have not been choppy. It's just directional. So there's no issue going inside there. I just don't have a setup to go inside there at the moment. That would be a short, but I don't see a short right now. Maybe later. There you go, Tesla now at the high. Let's see if
I
that
never
could
even
go.
really had ability to exit because it never really went into trend. I had a really great entry on it, but it never really got into trend, so I couldn't really decide what to do. So I'm just going to hold it, and if I take a stop on it, I'll just take a stop on it. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's not a little annoying, but
Yeah, risk management, always the key thing.
my thing is there is a chance, and one of the things I kind of like to try and keep in mind here is there is a significant chance I have the best price. Like, just because they come up in here doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. I'm not wrong until it goes above premium. So as a range trader, that's a very uncomfortable reality that you have to become okay with, right? Which is that I trade, I'm not wrong until it goes to 133.78. So, and one of the things we often do is we start second guessing our decision process just because we have a slight difference in price change. Now, I could get stopped out, but it's really all about consistency of performance. Like if I take this off now, what's my signal for getting out? It got back to the price I was already willing to sell it at. I mean, that doesn't really even make sense to me if you say it that way, right? Like this was good enough before. Why is it not good now? Why it just pulled back? Like, you know what I mean? I need more. I need to be invalidated. I have to be wrong before I'm willing to get out of this. Now, if this had went into a solid trend, pulled back to the 50, came off the 50, pulled back to like the 920, and when we start actually trending down on a big sell, well, that's different, right? I can draw a trend line, I can make some kind of a decision, but this basically just is still chopping the top end of the range, and in theory, I'm in the right spot. So I don't want to just get out of this position because I'm nervous about taking a stop. I still probably have the best price of the day. And as long as we don't break high of day, I'm not wrong. But I might be wrong.
Well, that's a good point. Your stop should be where your thesis is negated. That's what matters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you need it.
Like we just pulled back to this really high value area right here. All pre-market setup, very strong value, just came back and reoffered it and sold. Boom, there we go. This is the fun part about being a range trader, though, is you have the ability to sit back and just let your positions marinate a little bit. And you don't have to be so sensitive to price movement. You have very clear areas where you're right and wrong and very clear things you can do with it.
Avi, what do you think of AMD?
AMD, let's have a look.
We just broke out.
Oh yeah, look at that. Looking like a decent breakout. The consolidation was okay, not great, but the breakouts happened. And yeah, it's tricky though. I mean, it broke out, it came back down. It's not really, you see, the break of the high of days where I'd be excited. That's the place, because I see the sellers there and they really were firm. Look how far they pushed it down.
For
And
me,
then
AMD was a
RVM.
long off of 130, like my S3 is 133.40. It was a long there. I wouldn't say it's a long here. We're in a selling range now.
113.40 or 130?
Yeah, 113, 113.40
Down
to
there.
113.50. When we swept
Yeah.
the downside and bought right off of that. Now we're all the way in the top end. We're at premium right now. So if you were to buy here, you're probably going to get trapped and caught in a washout.
Yeah, be careful up here. That makes sense. That high of day, see, the seller was there, as well as now they put in a lower high as well. So now you're already getting the information that there's sellers right here.
Yeah, the fun thing that the cams give you, even if you don't use them for their strategy point, is this is premium and this is discount. You never want to, so the big rule is short below the fours, long above the fours, right? So you never want to be going long against R3 or R4 unless you have an insanely bullish price action. Because we obviously can go from the middle out, but what's going to happen is you're going to get, it's called stair step up, waterfall down. Stair step up, waterfall down. Even if you're making new highs, it's going to be a horrible position to manage because you're going to be going against the large asks to the top side and constantly getting washed out. So you want to let it get into the selling range and play with the waterfall. You know what I mean? And then when it gets into the buying range, same thing. If you're trying to go long down here, you're going to end up getting caught a lot in this kind of stuff. Wham, comes right down and then right, buys right out of the low end of the range. So you want to make sure that you're buying at discount, buy at discount, right? And sell at premium. Just basic, buy low, sell high, not complicated, right? So even if you're trying to buy here, look at this price action. Sucks. You're just going to get killed. But like on my PLTR, for instance, that's where, maybe not the world's greatest position right now, unfortunately, but you can see where selling at premium, right, that, is the advantage here, because I can sit back and wait and see, can we actually stair step through the buyers? We bounced off the buyer, but because I sold at premium and I was nice and high, I didn't get taken out by that. I might in a couple of minutes though, but we'll see what happens.
We got Harnath here wants to know about NVIDIA. Let's look at that. What happened there? Yeah, so NVIDIA on a 30-minute, you can see consolidation pre-market, did a breakout in the pre-market, and then it bounced after the open. So yeah, look at that. Bounce, I didn't even look at it, but there's a breakout, the retest of the breakout, and very firm, very strong. And you have the high of day, you'd probably take some partials there, or at least de-risk it there, and you hit the target. So that was decent price action so far. Didn't even look at that. And you know what was interesting also? I think Amazon put in some interesting activity. You can see here where it came down, it went up first and came straight down, even lost the opening price. And as far as naked trading is concerned, you can see down at the level, it put in these long tail hammers, even two of them, with room to the left. The new 1 minute high would be the entry for that long. I'm just looking at these charts now. Very good price action again. That's very neat. And it also didn't happen after giant candles going down. It had a consolidation candle and then put in these hammers. So that would have been a near perfect setup to go long down there. Well, the SPY didn't do something similar. If it did, I would have been right into that. There you go. Some interesting activity. You know what? I'll put NVIDIA on the chart here. There you
Yeah,
go.
Apple did the
Nine.
same kind of, basically the same kind of setup too.
Oh, nice. Let's see. Apple, we need some levels. Let's see. So you have the pre-market area. All right. And then on a 1 minute perspective, it came down and it went, but it didn't give that candlestick pattern that I like to see at the bottom to get long in this 201 area. It did do
Longer
a little
wicks.
CD. No, this is nothing. I mean, this is giant candles going down. And then
Oh,
it
I
just
see.
goes the other way. It's just a V reversal, which is, in my book, there's nothing here to catch. Very dangerous. But here there's an ABCD pattern, 202. You know, continuation of that reversal. This is stuff I take all the time, later in the day usually. You miss the reversal, but then you can catch the continuation of that reversal from one level to the next. And on the SPY, I see this very, very often. So there you go. Some interesting activity in the middle of a lot of difficult activity. Like Tesla's been complicated. PLTR's been tricky. Thor's in there managing it. SPY is just a joke.
Just keeping my eyes closed right now, not paying attention to this piece of junk.
There you go.
That's a risk method, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing the same with the SPY. I'm not in it anything, but just it's so.
I don't know why someone else in here decided to mute me, but please don't mess with the like mute and settings and stuff like that in the room. I'm going to try and figure out why anyone even has the ability to do that, but just careful with when you're muting, because you muted me for everybody. And I won't take it personally.
Thor, only admin has that access. No, the user, regular user, doesn't have that access.
Well, whoever, I understand that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's why I got to message them. So I just said be careful with using those because it worked globally. I saw my microphone go to mute, so somebody had the ability to do that, and it wasn't a name I recognized. So just saying, careful.
Right on. Yeah, careful. I found myself just not muted as well. Like, oh crap! Did you guys hear me earlier? I don't even know. Anyways, same thing.
The LTR is trying to come get me. We'll see what happens. Come get me, I dare you. Make me stop trading for the day. I had a great day yesterday. I nailed an awesome NQ short right at the open. It was like done in like 5 minutes. Hit it on all of my accounts. So made like almost $5,000 or something on the position. It was beautiful. I was like, hey.
Well, does it
Monday.
make Thor,
Nice.
does it make sense to short R3 on Amazon on the retrace?
Let me look real quick. Okay, so I would like it to be higher for a short. Let me look at its book though. It does kind of look like it wants to go short right now. The VPA certainly looks interesting. I would have preferred it to be more near R4. So, but because it's let's see what the ATR looks like. I mean, as long as you can get to a target by 203, it probably fits. Oh, thank you. News in 3.
Yep.
Let me see. For me, man, that's a tough one. I would prefer it to be a. I think for me, it looks like it's probably going to offer to R like near 209. I think it's going to go up to 209. I would look for it to short around 209. I don't think here's the right spot. The order structure is still a little too well laddered to the top side, and we have too much buying right now, and our book is too bullish near the price. So we have an imbalance of buying to selling, and we have too many orders near the price to the top side. So I think we're going to continue rallying. I'd look for 209 and see if 209 responds with a really large sell. But right now, it still looks like we could possibly squeeze this thing a little higher.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Nvidia's
Yeah,
got a nice
until our news is going to come out.
Yeah, Nvidia is rocking, going all the way up. We got news. Nvidia's the only thing that looks decent right now, but
Let's see how the futures are looking like on the book. All right, so for those of you who are watching my screen, I want to show you a lesson in algorithms. All right, and I just want you to see how controlled this market is and isn't at times. So see these vertical stripes that are coming in? These are orders coming off the book right now, and you can tell it's an algorithm. Look how it affects the entire book from the entire top to the entire bottom. Right, so these are literally large institutional algorithms and specialist programs used by futures, stocks, or whatever, and they're actually pulling giant orders. I mean, millions and millions of orders are being leaned off the book. So we're basically creating more or less a low float scenario right now, right, where all the market makers are taking their liquidity out of the book. So basically they're just going to give everyone free reign to come in and go crazy right when this news comes out. They'll let the market bounce around for a few minutes, and then they'll tear in orders and get things going.
Thor, you said pulled, not filled, right?
Pulled, yeah, coming off the book, like they're emptying the book out. So like one of the reasons why low floats are so particularly dangerous is because you have a large amount of volume into a book that is very, very lean. You know what I mean? So what's happening is the market makers are more or less, they don't want to give up, or in this instance, it's an algorithm, it's a specialist. Here we go.
yeah, here
comes the news.
Jumpy, very jumpy.
But see, that's why you can get wicks like this when this happens, because there's no orders to constrain the price action as it comes through. And lots of institutional traders like to use these moments to ambush the price and try and get really fast money. Like really fast money. Like think about something Artie would do, but in like 2 seconds and done by an algorithm. Right at the open, it just buys and then sells. Pop, pop. It's like $200,000. Pop, pop, in and out. Like it's so fast to watch them make money like that's crazy.
Thor, I got a question about the orders being pulled.
Mm-hmm.
So if orders were staggered like that, and institution pull those orders, if the price moves up in up or down in either direction, wouldn't people have to isn't there transactions between buy and sells? So even if the price moves up, somebody's still selling.
So think about it.
Do you understand my question?
Over time, with volume, price moves to size. If there's no size, it requires less volume to move. Right. So there's no orders. Limit orders by definition constrain price movement. So if there's no limits, then the market orders are filled by the specialist on demand. Right. So the specialist gets to decide, am I going to fulfill that from my inventory, or am I going to fulfill that from the DOM? Right. We're going to go to the depth of market and grab it off the book. So in this instance, there's no orders on the book. So that means the specialist gets to fill it completely from their inventory. And if that's the case, if someone wants to buy, what's the specialist going to do? They're going to let it go as high as it possibly can. Why not let everyone buy premium? Right. So the specialist will just offload their inventory into the buyers and just let the price scream to the top side.
So
right.
When you say the specialist let's say go, how do they let it go? Like, is it like an algorithm that just?
It is entirely an algorithm. The specialist does not make that.
Not somebody there just like clicking like market
Nope.
sell, market sell, market sell.
Not at all.
Okay.
No. So think of it this way. This is my favorite analogy, especially since we have an actual captain in here. So think about your specialist or your market maker as the pilot of a plane, right? They don't actually fly you anywhere. They fly the plane, right? So they're gonna put in where they want the plane to go, and they're gonna do certain things. The only time the pilot's ever really gonna put their hands on the wheel, right, or on the yoke, is they're going to do it during taxi, takeoff, landing, taxi back, and turbulence. Other than those times, they're never even going to put their hands on the wheel. It's completely algorithmic the entire time. In these moments, the orders coming off, that was them But again, they're steering the plane. They're not actually flying they're not flying you. The plane's flying you. So the algorithm's the plane. The algorithm always does the orders. The market maker never touches your order. It's always done by an algorithm. The market maker just kind of guides the algorithm on where the market maker wants it to go. But in the case of futures, there is no human intervention whatsoever. All specialists in futures are all algorithmic. There is no market for like a floor for futures, right? It's all handled by computers, which is why like those like Anna Cooling, for instance, will reference futures as being a pure market, right? Because there's no one to get in the way other than the algorithm, that we're all kind of dealing with the same enemy, I guess you could say.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. I mean, to get through to, especially if you get to go like in the NYSE, there's a spot called the tunnel, which is the connecting area between the NYSE floor and the options floor on the NYSE, the stock floor and the options floor. It's really cool to walk in the tunnel, and you can kind of see some of the like data stuff, computers they got with like their data in and data out off the floor, and you realize, man, there is some massive bandwidth running in and out of that floor. It's wild, actually.
Nice.
Quantum.
Those of you who are watching my screen there, Tesla did a very neat break of the high of the day. Now it's retesting that zone. So maybe an opportunity to catch a retest somewhere here around 348.50. So something to keep an eye on.
I'm still holding the stupid ticker.
It's still there. Yeah, Shane, go ahead. You got a question?
I had a question for Thor. So the first 30-minute candle, we had a lot of choppiness, wicks on both sides, and now the market's kind of buying. Do you see genuine buying right now, or is this just kind of news buying?
Let's see, let's look at SPY.
It just doesn't look genuine to me, but
Agreed.
we are buying.
Yeah, I'm with you a little bit. So here's kind of, as we're looking at the chart, like we have a very obvious area of premium that we've created right now. I do think, hold on. Let me see. I agree with what you're saying. I feel like they're offloading premium into buyers right now. So anytime you see like big green, like buying coming through, although we have an excess of buying, we're not moving up, which is pretty interesting. So the market makers could be attempting to offload into buyers, which means they're going to likely rotate lower, right? But we do have it. They haven't. I wouldn't say we have an imbalance of selling, right? So we have to be careful with anticipating selling when we see struggling buying. So right now, I wouldn't say it's a short, but I would have trouble going long. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't, and again, we're in that kind of that kill range. You know what I mean? But for me, say like, look right there, when we went to premium again, look how we stuffed that buy and immediately started offloading. I mean, it just feels like the market maker is letting the price get up here on SPY, and anytime it gets here, they're just stuffing the buyers and offloading their inventory into them. And if that's the case, they'll likely rotate lower. But then you see, look at the push, they bring it right back up. And that's why these choppy ranges are so difficult. So what I would wait for is I would wait for a very large sell that moves the price very, very well. Like something like one of these back here. Like see something that really moves the price down and then let it re-offer. And if it holds there, hit that and throw your stop above premium. And you could run it back to S3 if you wanted. But the target would be S3 in this range. I wouldn't expect to go much lower than 590 to 590.60. But it looks like, see, they did it again. See how they stuffed that big buy and then immediately offload? Yeah, there they go. Look at that. There they go. Fucking love VPA. Sorry, freaking love VPA. Oh my God, this stuff is so fun. Watching, so it's all about watching the algorithm and how they respond to the activity that's coming in. When the buy and the large buy came in, they offloaded that buy. They were selling. So the market maker has their own inventory, right? They're stock traders, just like us, just really big ones, right? They have their own inventory, a massive inventory, right? And they get to make a decision. Do I fill this from my inventory or do I just go and grab it off the book? So what you can see is anytime someone was buying, the market maker was choosing to go and offload their inventory into the buying. So we were getting stuffed, right? So then we started to sell. Look at that. Yeah, boom.
There it is. Yep. Just watching that. Very
Snake oil
interesting.
business is good for the market maker.
Business is good, man. And think about all the retailers now, especially that were trying to buy this break. Every time it broke high of day or it was going up and offering, they're just buying because it looked strong, didn't it? The way they were doing it, it just, if you're just looking at it without putting the volume in the book to it, you would have potentially read that as a very strong, you know, look, we keep going up. We're making higher lows. We keep testing premium. But then now, oh, wait, wicks. Anytime we went up, stuffed. You're like, oh, okay.
Look at MES and look at the book flip. Right as we sold into that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Really?
Look, market structure shift to the downside when that happened. Yeah, good eye, Nathan. Book flip. So when that sell happened, the market maker tiered more orders to the downside. That's pretty cool.
Thor, you still on Tesla short?
Go ahead. Yeah, Gurinder, Anthony, and then Dave. We got some questions
Thor, are
here.
you still in Tesla short?
I'm in PLTR short. I'm not in Tesla short.
Oh, but were you short earlier on it or no?
Not Tesla.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Anthony. You got something?
I was just gonna ask for NVIDIA at like 9:45 when I hit R4. And this is like a question for Thor. What sort of like confirmations are you looking for it to either bounce off of it or continue upward? Because I feel like I never understand what it's gonna do when it hits that level. I kind of just take a guess and then put my stop loss.
Tesla just alerted actually. So generically, the big key kind of for me on this one comes into this category, which is the narrow range versus wide range. So on a narrow range, I'm generically looking to play outwards. On wider ranges, I'm normally looking to play inwards, right? So because narrow ranges are outside days, wide ranges are inside days. I expect to close in the range on a wide day and outside the range on a narrow day. So on this day, because of opening inside the range, I actually would have considered this one for a potential trending breakout. However, I wouldn't have taken it. And I wouldn't have taken it because look where ATR high is and tell me ATR doesn't work. Look at that hit to ATR high, right? That was we calculated that when the stock, you know, off of its pre-market low, that should be the distance of the move it makes. And look at right where we found sellers. The algorithm hit that beautifully, right? So in this instance, I would have decided not to play the trending breakout on this one, even though it has a narrow range because of the ATR restriction. We're just too close. So that's why we have no PCP found on this particular one, right? There's no play going to be called for this one because we didn't, with this range and ATR being in the way, there's not enough potential in this one for me today.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead, Dave. You got something?
Yeah. Good morning, Avi and Thor.
Good morning.
Thor, like, so the question is like, okay, somebody just mentioned that if the buying on the SPY was like looking like news driven, like, so not actual buying, like, so can you please explain a little bit more on that?
So right now, the SPY to me looks insanely indecisive. Right, where we've established a high, we've established a low, and we haven't managed to crack either one of those in any substantial way, right? So right now, the market looks like it's not even in play right now. Like for me, it looks like they're still trying to, you know, I don't know if they're still doing some price discovery right now since the news. It can take the specialists 15 minutes to a half hour to figure out what they want to do sometimes, you know, when they're intervening. So I do know that we are right at premium from, look at like on this big day here and big day. So basically we're just offering this premium area right here. So, but again, look, we're buying right back up. And this is why, you know, Avi said this before, and it was very astute of him. You know, this is just a horrible range to really interact with. This is why we want to try and isolate up here, or we want to try to buy from down here, because at least then we can try and sweep across the range and get some price movement. But interacting right here, I mean, we're just weaving up and down PDC. If I was going to tell you like firm like which way I thought this was going to go, I would tell you I have no idea. Like, it's super indecisive. I could tell in that moment that we were stuffing and offering premium. They could come back up and do it again. But the more times they hit this top, the more likely they are to try and go through it. So, I mean, they're only going to give this so many goes, and they're going to blast through this thing. So the market maker may have an ulterior objective here that we have to pay attention to. There is a large order void right above 395. So they may want to push this out and get a little bit higher before they sell. I wouldn't say it sells much higher than that, though, because the order structure just looks like garbage above 395. It looks much better to the downside. So I still think overall today looks more like a short than a long, but the market maker seems to be doing something a little tricky right now. I think they're trying to offload more premium. I think they're going to still try and maybe push a little higher before they sell. If they sell, we only have another 15 minutes or so. And if they make a high of day after 15 minutes or so from now, statistically becoming a short becomes a horrible idea. Basically we start thinking almost long for the rest of the day. Statistically on SPY closing the gap to PDC and making a new high of day after 10:30, you're about 70% locked to close on that side of the range. So it's just kind of becomes silly to start shorting against it. Even if it is a short, it just doesn't happen that often.
Got it. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. Asgar and then Anya. Yeah, you guys got questions?
So Avi, this is for you. So you put the level of the SPY high of 593.4, and then now it's just consolidating for the past 45 minutes. I'm not saying it's gonna go up, but if it's go up and it's break, are you considering that level just to take a retest entry?
No, I don't enter there. My typical trade book, I have to enter close to my levels, the Fibonacci levels. That's just an area where if I was in the long, I would think about de-risking it in that zone, at least moving it to even or taking some off, or both. Because, that was a high. You can see that's exactly where the sellers were, and from there it went straight down, right? So be careful in that zone. That's all it's there for. Just a bit of a reference that on the way to the target, that's where I have to be careful. That's all it is for me. The only way I would take a trade there is if I'm into a scalping mindset and I'm identifying momentum and I'm going to scalp it, then I would do it. But that's rare these days. I don't do many of those kinds of trades anymore. I just want to get these big 30-minute moves. So I'll wait for it. Let it go to any of these other burgundy lines. I mean, look, there's so many of them on the chart, right? Just wait for them.
Okay, so then in this case, what would be your entry today for SPYs? Because it's already gone from that burgundy level of the 592.40, and the next one is just not consolidating yet, at least not soon. So you're not going to have an entry soon, I guess.
Yeah, no entry. And it might be the rest of this week I might not get an entry. I have no idea.
Okay.
Just have to wait. Just have to wait for the level.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, Anya, go ahead.
Hi, I have a question for Thor.
Hello.
On the ATR calculation, sometimes you use with pre-market data and sometimes without. So what is your criteria?
I use with pre-market data anytime the price action goes outside the regular trading hours session, high and low. So like yesterday from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock is your regular trading hours. That high and low is what I calculate my cams on. If we go in the after hours, for instance, let's say we go and then we start rallying after hours and we go above that, or on the next day we open and we go outside of that, then instead of using the regular trading hours, I'm going to look to the pre-market and the post-market and grab any additional information and calculate off of that. So that's how I switch them out.
But calculation in TOS using your config. I mean, I need to switch manually, right? For the
no,
ATR?
the TOS one auto switches.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
The TOS one's a lot of switch. You have to the one thing we're always working on is standardizing the calculation, and it is very difficult because every platform defines the open, close, high, and low every slightly differently, and they all have different data feeds. So there's some days when the high of day on 2 different platforms is actually slightly different, which is really bizarre. But it happens all the time through, because they all have different data feeds and they're not always getting all the same stuff. So there is on every platform, there will often be a very slight wiggle, but we're doing the best to dial that in as much as possible so that we can get consistent performance across the other ones. But basically I'm working as hard as I can to to have them match as much to the DOS system as possible for equities, and then as much to the TOS system, because that's how I calculate futures. So, and then having a hybrid. So TV right now, I'm going to have a new version of my cams for trading view that's going to come out. That's going to be a non-modifiable version. It'll literally just be my settings the way I do them. That way you can just load my settings without having to tweak them around and do everything. The TOS one is already that way. It's already standardized. So.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. And it is actually a little after 10:15. So I have a small window to go get some breakfast. So I think I'm going to do so. And I'm just going to stop looking at this stinking PLTR trade that will never get to a fill ever. But hopefully maybe by the time I get done making some food, it will. Avi, what are you up to this afternoon? You got some mentoring stuff going and then bike ride?
Yeah, motorcycle ride. I'd like to cancel everything else, go do that. But
let's just cancel everything. Motorcycle ride. I'll meet you in Dubai. I'm on my way.
Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I got a session at 11 with my mentees, so that's
right on. Cool. Well, great hanging with everybody. I'll see you all on Thursday, and yeah, I'll talk to you all then.
Cool.
Peace, Thor. Have a good one.
Bye.
Easy, man. See ya. Cool. All right, guys, I'm with you for another 10 minutes or so till 10:30. I don't anticipate any trades, for me at least. There's no setup, so whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. I like the look of NVIDIA here, though. It's been behaving nicely, so I'm just looking at it. Pretty neat.
Yeah, NVIDIA's been perfect, man. I jumped in at 139.8, so it's just that pullback scared the hell out of me, but what the hell.
Very cool. You know the levels, just take your profits at the levels and you're okay.
Now, I tried going red to green on that, but my setup wasn't perfect, and I just exited. And I'm like, fuck it. And there it goes.
Yeah. That's all right. Well, if you get a chance to re-enter after stopping out, you can take it. If you don't, then that's all right. You took one attempt, and that was all right. It was worth it. It's worth the effort, worth the attempt. And that's good. Just manage those risks. Make sure your stops are tight and your runners are big. In the end, that's what makes you money. What's interesting here on NVIDIA is it's made a higher high. If you look at where it rejected earlier at about 10:03 or so, since then it's made a higher high. So it's very difficult to think about it as a short. It may go short, may go anywhere, but it's not a double top. Again, this is where a lot of people get messed up looking for double tops and stuff. This is not a good clean one because you want the second top to be lower than the first. This is already not doing that. So be careful with this if you're thinking short. The SPY is exactly where you would expect it to find trouble. Right there. Big seller sitting right there. So let's see what happens. It's going to be another slow one, looks like. Wait a few hours for something, if anything. Anyone catch that Amazon move? That was really neat. Pattern-wise, setup-wise. That was really cool. I saw it 30 minutes late, but it was there. Right down there. Those big hammers down there. Very powerful setup.
Yeah, I was looking for the short as it started to pull back. If it rejected 207, I was in, but it just never did it, so stayed out.
Good. Yeah, setup didn't come, so you stayed out. That's good. That's very healthy. Good stuff, man. Eddie, you got Amazon? Nice. Good for you, man. Yeah, good one. Good, clean one. So, these setups, you gotta be super careful with them. I'll show you what I'm looking at here on the SPY. So the initial idea was a breakout. It consolidated and looking like a breakout. Then when the first 30-minute candle closed, and it looked like it's basically very indecisive. After that, I'm done. I'm not even thinking about that previous breakout thesis. That's gone. It broke out, it came back, and it's just bouncing around. So I'm not even thinking about that old thesis anymore. What I had in the pre-market, that's out of my mind. Now it's just sit and wait, and let's see at some point today, maybe something happens. If not, I'll come back tomorrow. So you got to be careful with these. Once your setup is there, you don't get, you don't marry it you watch the action, and if you have to change your mind and setup is no longer there, then it's no longer there. Just gotta let it go.
So looking at that, Avi, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting like all the way up to 595?
It could set up at this level here. Something could set up later. I don't know. Or it could set up at any other level. I don't know. At the moment, there's just nothing. And I don't see how anything can set up for maybe 2 or 3 30-minute candles. So probably go take a nap and come back in an hour and see what it is. There's really nothing there. And if it doesn't set up again, no point putting risk on it, right? Just let it be. Come back tomorrow. Yeah, it's not worth it. So it's a very troublesome area right now, right there. Let's see, what do we have? Zoom out. Yeah, it's just a great big choppy zone. I'd like to trade it outside of this choppy zone, ideally. And so far, it's closer to the upside. So, hey, maybe it goes up to this 599 or 600 area and reverses. That would be fun. I'll take that later today. No, or maybe it sets up here and then continues up and breaks through 600. I'll take one of those, whatever. But these are going to take hours to set up from now.
I was going to say, that might not even get there today, right?
Yeah, it might not. It might not. All we know is that it's in this choppy zone that it's been in since it gapped up at some point last week, and it's pushing to the upside. It even pushed out so far of the really choppy area. It's done that yesterday and today so far, but you still need a setup if you want to take it, right? If you're going to put risk on it, you don't just put risk on. You got to get a setup to put risk on.
I mean, one tweet and every candle could be just red on an hour chart.
There you go. That's it.
Or it could be massive green, just one tweet these days. That's all it takes.
Yep. And it changes everything. The patterns break and suddenly new patterns exist and suddenly you have massive opportunities. And I see that all the time. These days, this quarter, it's been like that. Even the first quarter was like that.
Yeah, like you're saying, trades on any of these levels, something bad could happen and everything goes red and all of a sudden we're looking short in the later session.
Yep, could be great. So where would we catch a good short if? Yeah, a good short would be up there where it rejected from before. You can see the sellers are sitting there. So if it goes in there and puts in a good 30-minute pattern up there, off you go. Anyways, nice and slow. What do you got here? Are not spies consolidation? Oh, right. Yeah, I just answered. Cool, man. Yeah, keep it simple. And when your setup comes, put on the risk. And if you stop out, no big deal. It was worth the attempt. And if you didn't stop out, it means it worked. So it was worth the attempt either way. But what's not worth it is putting on risk when you don't have a setup. When your setup does not exist, doesn't matter what the result is after that. It's not worth it. You're building bad habits. So sit and wait. Sit and wait. Sit and wait. Wait for your setup, and so you have to have a very good definition of your setup. That's important. Otherwise, you don't know what you're waiting for. You get frustrated. So wait for it. Define it and wait for it.
Yeah, I got a quick question. Do you ever look at the options chain to determine the direction?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't bother with the options chain. For me, options is just leverage. I'm just trading the price action, and I'm leveraging up my buying power with options. That's all I'm doing. And,
I use spot gamma to do that.
There you go.
Nathan, I was looking at this thing called optionscharts.io. It's like $25 or $30 a month, a lot cheaper than spot gamma. But it exposes it also shows the gamma exposure as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Spot Gamma has a tool called Trace that shows gamma exposures at levels for the SPX. And we are right in a very negative gamma option level for SPX from 539 all the way up to 59.55. So like for ES, that'd be up to like 59.65.70. For SPY, that would probably be up around 595 or so. So yeah, we're getting a lot of buyers, a lot of absorption, just kind of grinding higher, but we're in a very negative gamma environment at the moment. So the selling pressure is going to be high through here, and we are selling a little bit, but these buyers are still just picking up all those shares and pushing price a little higher. I feel like they're trying to trap them up in this area.
Only if you want to, Nathan, but would you share your screen and show us what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
Can I share my screen?
Last couple of minutes here, guys. We'll just shut this down, but yeah, let Nathan go through this, and then we'll shut down this session.
So I mean, you can see here on Bookmap and just even through the chart, just really grinding higher. We did get some good selling. I mean, this was a great algorithmic response to a push down, kind of what Thor was talking about. If you guys were watching this move right here, we've been grinding higher, but the problem is, and I feel like this is a trap because, well, that's not good word. This is a trace tool from Spot Gamma. And what it does is it's a map of the SPX that gives over here to the left is the gamma exposure. This is the gamma exposure for the dealer. So this is the gamma exposure for the market maker. So technically the market maker is, what would this be? If buyers are, they should be long puts here. And so their selling pressure, the higher we go, the more they need to try to sell the hedge. So getting into this area, this would be a selling area, huh?
Is that like a limit? Are these limit orders that you're talking about on this left side, the long puts?
This is just, it goes through, they do with their algorithm, they do open interest, and then
open positions.
They're trying, this is basically how the market makers are positioned in the market with options. And so how they hedge these options through the SPY, ES, SPX is through futures contracts. So they're very negative. They need to sell. Once we get into this area, they're going to be forced to sell to hedge these positions. So we're getting here, this is considered resistance, and we're kind of grinding through. That's why I feel like we're going to get up to the top of here. Here's some buying support. We get up into this area over the top. We could start buying up through here. You know, we've got a level with some good support. We've got a level down here. This is the JPM collar that people talk about. This one right here, this huge positive gamma exposure. And if you'd notice, if you go back and look at the chart, for the last like 3 days, we've just been banging around this. It's been like a magnet because there's so much options activity and open interest here that we've just been pulled to it. Now we're finally breaking away from it, but we're breaking up into a very negatively exposed area and kind of a little bit of a selling range too on a lot of the futures. And I'm looking at SPY and QQQ. So there's going to be a lot of selling pressure in here. So that's where we're going to grind. Buyers are going to have to work really hard against the market makers because they're going to be selling to hedge as we move through this area. That's kind of this red area too. So buying support would be like the blue purple. Selling resistance would be up in the red.
Jared, sticky price.
So this has been really helpful. Today we're kind of diverting a little bit. Hero is another tool that they have that I use a lot. And what we have here is a little bit of diversion. So this shows what like retail and institutions are doing. This orange line is calls. So there's a lot of call buying today going on that's really just forcing the market up. And you can see this is the price of SPX, and the call buying is really pushing price up. These are the puts. So if we have puts selling, if they're selling puts, that's just like buying shares. This can move the market up, but it's just stayed flat. So really our call buying today is moving the market up higher.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're saying all this call buying, but the SPY moved $2. Like,
sorry guys, sorry to interrupt guys, but we got to end this one. This is
okay.
We can continue. Anyways, I'm going to be with you guys in about 30 minutes, my mentees. I'll put the link out now so you guys can get in there and continue this, and I'll join at about 11. Cool.
Yeah, I'll jump in there.
All righty.
Cool,
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks guys. Talk to y'all soon. Take it easy.
All right, bye.